Hello and welcome to Pompey Talk in partnership with Jan Lee. My name is Mark McMahon and join me in the studio today to discuss Pompey's home game against Stevenage is new sports writer Jordan Cross. Jordy, I don't want to roll out there's a big game for Pompey, my opening question, but it is a big game. Bear in mind that after the result against Luton, this is the type of game that Pompey need to win, isn't it?
Well, as I've picked up in my column this week, history's a great predictor of what's going to happen in the future. And in recent seasons, when Pompey have had these sort of great results and there's a real groundswell of optimism, they've let you down.
Yeah.
They've let you down time and again. I mean, last season, the obvious one being the Accrington game in March, where there was a 3-1 win. And it's one that Paul Cook comes back to time and again, where he thought, this is it, we're really off and running here. And then we went to Newport County. The next game got turned over 3-0. So there's a lot of echoes of that in this game this weekend, where Pompey would be expected a kind of a home banker on most people's coupons. But Stevenage would be, probably a tougher cookie than most people would anticipate. So, as I say, lots of indicators in the past. Last season, when we went to Bristol Rovers, top of the league, and in August, September time, then we got turned over by Exeter. So this is where Pompey have got to try and sort of get over that obstacle where they've fallen in the past. And if they play anything like they did during the week, they'd do it. But then it's this great thing about consistency that we come back to all the time.
Yeah, there's no point in beating Luton away from home and then dropping points against Stevenage. On paper, though, Pompey should win this year. Stevenage are struggling at the latter end of the table. Yeah,
you would. I mean, you would, and Pompey got the firepower at the moment, and they're looking like the team that can do it. It's 10 points out of 12 now, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But as I say, we time and again in the past, this has kind of been where they've kind of they've slipped up. So. With what happened the last game, that's going to be a talking point, isn't it? There was a bit of angst there. So what happens? Is there going to be that sort of optimism that is really needed for the players to sort of really be at their best and comfortable? That's another big factor. And there's a few talkers in team selection, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about those then. you mentioned firepower. Connor Chaplin is obviously going to be back in contention after serving a one-match ban.
Yeah.
Michael Smith, 2 goals in 2 games. I thought he played really well against Luton.
Yeah.
What do you think Paul Cook might do there? Is there even a choice of playing 2 up front?
No. In
that on the head.
No, I mean most fans would like that, wouldn't they? But Paul Cook's defined his 4-2-3-1 formation is the one he prefers. So that means it'd be one of those characters up top. You asked the question, what would Paul Cook do? I think that's a very different question to what most punters would like. I mean, if you asked like 9 out of 10 Pompey fans, they would want Connor Chaplin to play. But that's doing a disservice to Michael Smith, who's had a hard time. He's not a fan's favourite. But at the moment, I mean, the last 2 games, it wasn't at the Cheltenham game, he's come off the bench and nabbed himself a goal. And as you said, he was decent. He was decent during the week. He led the line well. He was up against a strong, about probably as tougher, rugged competitor in Mullin as you would come up in centre-halves in this division. And as Gareth Evans quite rightly pointed out, he bullied him at times. Really, he gave him a real tough evening. He's a vocal point. Perhaps that counts more away than it does at home. But I think really it's going to be tough for Paul Cook to take him out really off the back of that one. Connor Chaplin had that 9-game streak. I think it's 9 games on the bounce before the suspension kicked in. Although it was planned for Smith to start the game on Tuesday. My inkling is that there's obviously Noel Hunt to factor into it as well, who's going to be sort of playing more of a part as the season goes on. But my inkling is that it'll be probably Smith that'll get the nod.
Okay, and you've said Smith had a great game, as did the team against Luton.
Yeah.
How did you rate their performance at Luton?
Oh well, I mean we were sat there, weren't we? And in the first half, it was as good a spectacle as you're going to get in League Two. Probably a League One game, a top end League One. That's what Liam Richardson described it as when I was chatting with him after the game. It was like a basketball match in the first half. It was just like teams going at it.
Yeah.
And Pompey, when they go up against sides that want to have a go, I mean, time and again it's shown they will probably come out on top. That's not been Pompey's problem. It's well documented. It's when teams do what, in all likelihood, is what Stevenage do this weekend, that they do tend to struggle. So the first half, great performance, real good spectacle. He felt there were more goals in it, but the second half, the way it panned out was brilliant for Pompey. They really put a stranglehold on the match. Were in control. I can't remember Luton really having too many chances in the second half. Pompey had great chances to go and put the game to bed. You were fearful that might come back to haunt them when was it Burge and Gareth Evans had two good chances. Matt Clark had a good one in the first half he didn't take. But then when we got the third goal, and what a finish it was from Cal Naismith. So yeah, that's why. Going back to my column, that you come away, that you have that feeling of optimism. You know, this is it, and you can't help but do it. That's the lot of a Pompey fan. You know, you've been there so many times before, but then you kind of it comes around. You think this is it. This is going to be the time. This is really it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how it is. I mean, if you're a football fan, you've got to go through those moments. So we're just kind of
touch wood.
This really is the time.
Okay, then let's go for predictions then.
Yeah.
We know the scenario. We know what the worst case scenario.
Yeah, 3-0 Stevenage.
3-0 Stevenage.
No.
What do you reckon is going to happen?
I mean, going in there, I think it won't be what everyone would anticipate it being an easy 3 points. I just hope that if it is kind of 0-0 at half time or it is a draw, that we kind of just keep on an even kill, because that really is going to be critical this weekend, because it does translate to the players, and rightly or wrongly it does affect them. They are professionals, but when that angst build up, maybe it's the level, but they struggle to deal with it. It translates when the fear comes in. So if that is avoided, I think it will be a Pompey win, but maybe 2-0.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you very much, Joy.
Cheers, Mark.
You'll be watching Pompey Talk in partnership with Jan Leap. We'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.